Christmas Eve 1988, New York police detective John McClane became the hero of Nakatomi Plaza when he foiled the robbery attempt of German master criminal Hans Gruber and rescued the 30 or so hostages of Nakatomi's Christmas party. 41 years later, the op and designers Sean Fletcher and Patrick Marino, using eyewitness testimony and actual security footage from Nakatomi Plaza, recreated the action-packed incident in the form of Die Hard, the Nakatomi Heist board game. I'm Steve Tassi, the board game guru, and I'm here to teach you how to play the game so you can relive this important piece of police history. Die Hard is a one versus many game with one player taking on the role of John McClane, while the other 1 to 3 players play as Gruber's diverse crew of henchmen. McClane's job is to progress through the events of the incident, culminating in his daring defenestration of Hans Gruber. The thieves, meanwhile, are attempting to either pull off the heist as masterminded by the ruthless Gruber, or kill McClane before he can foil their plans. The designers distilled the events at Nakatomi Plaza into 3 acts, with each side having different objectives in each of those acts. When McClane achieves his objectives for one act, the game progresses to the next one, and the next series of objectives for both sides. The most interesting feat of game engineering in Die Hard is the board. Unlike other board games where the board is unfolded into the playing surface, giving the players freedom to go wherever they want within their game world, Act 1 is played with the board still folded up. The folded board only gives John McClane enough of Nakatomi Plaza to achieve the Act 1 objectives. Once he accomplishes those, the board is cleared, it is unfolded once, and now we see enough of the building for John to move on to the Act 2 objectives. Once those have been completed, the board is unfolded one final time, revealing the parts of the blueprint required for the climactic showdown. While it's a gimmick that could have easily been replaced by having 3 separate boards or one large board divided into 3 different zones, the gradually unfolding board is a remarkably satisfying gimmick. In addition to the main board, there is a secondary board to help the McClane player manage their cards. The McClane board is divided into 3 sections: a discard pile, a draw pile, and a pile of played cards. McClane also has a red figure to move around the board, and a deck of action cards. The McClane deck is divided into cards for each of the acts, so separate the cards by act. Act 1 cards have actions listed in all 3 act boxes along the left side of the card, whereas Act 2 cards are blank in the first box, and Act 3 cards are blank in the first and second box. Place the deck for the current act on the draw pile section and give John McClane his starting hand of 5 cards. When a card is played, the McClane player gets to do all of the actions in any order listed on the box of the current act on the card. Used cards are placed on the played cards section of the McClane board, and they will be shuffled into the cards for the next act when it's time to move on. Discarded cards are placed on the discard section, and at the end of the act, all cards in the discard pile, the draw pile, and anything left over in McClane's hands are removed from the game. The thieves have 2 decks of cards: a lead thief token that rotates amongst the thief players, a black Hans Gruber figure, and 7 green generic thief figures. They also have a bunch of blue and red cubes. The lock deck is used to create the locks that the thieves have to disable. There is 1 card used to track which lock they're currently working on, and a random deck of cards that each have a row of 5 randomly numbered boxes, all numbered 1 through 9. The progress card tells you how many cards are drawn to make each of the locks. The first couple of locks need 2 cards each, then the next few need 3 cards, and finally the 6th lock needs 4 cards. Place the 6th lock tracking card next to the board and place a blue cube on the lock 1 space. Draw 2 cards from the lock deck and place them in such a way that they form 2 rows of numbered boxes. To defeat the lock, each box will have to be filled by a blue cube. The Thief deck is similar to the McClane deck, but it isn't act-specific. Each card has 3 actions on it down at the bottom, as well as a 1 or 2 digit number in the upper left corner. The numbers are used by the thieves to help disable the locks, and the actions are used to run around, hurt McClane, and further disable locks. Thieves each draw a starting hand of 3 cards. The blue cubes are used to fill in the numbered boxes on the lock cards. The red cubes are used by McClane and the thieves. McLean uses them to fill the spaces on the support objective card, and the thieves use them to fill in the spaces on their draw blood objective card. The six-sided die is used to resolve attack actions. Each act has objectives that McLean and the thieves are to achieve. These objectives are represented by thick cards that are placed on spots printed right on the board for the act. Many of these objectives require people or items to be found. Those items or people are represented by round tokens with the number of the act printed on the back. The tokens and objective cards are red if they are of interest to McLean, and they are green if they are for the thieves. The board is printed with each act's proper starting spaces for McLean, the thieves, and any objective tokens printed right on them. To finish setting up for Act 1, place a green thief figure on each of the green spaces on the board, place the red McLean figure on the McLean start space, shuffle the 6 green Act 1 tokens and place them randomly, number side up, on the 6 obstacle spaces. Those are the spots with construction equipment and supplies drawn on them. Shuffle the 4 red Act 1 tokens and place them randomly, number side up, on the 4 red spaces of the board. Act 1 is now set up, and you know what all the different components are for. In part 2 of this tutorial, I will cover the actual mechanics of gameplay. Thanks for watching my video, everybody. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. If you want to subscribe and make sure that you get all my board game related content, hit the subscription button. There's an amazing thing that happens every time someone subscribes to my channel, and that is the number of subscribers I have goes up by 1. Whoa!